Ladies and gentlemen, I think Yeti is paying attention to Instagram because I'm on there constantly trolling, complaining that I want the 4.5 back. The Yeti 4.5 was one of my favorite bikes, and today we now have the SB115. In the past 5 years, one of my absolute favorite bikes that I had, and I actually had built 3 of them in the past, was the Yeti 4.5. So that had 114 millimeters of rear travel and 140 in the front. I think people are calling this now Downcountry. Is that the coined term for that sort of thing? So it's not really an XC bike, but it's not quite a trail bike yet. I don't know. But I really like that travel range because to me, you could build it just in between an XC bike and a trail bike, and it would still be really light and really fast, but just a little more capable than an XC bike, especially when you match it with good geo. I love that 4.5. And then it was eventually replaced, sort of replaced. Well, Yeti's kind of always changing and revising their bikes over the years, and they came out with the SB100, which was 120 and 100, and then they had the 130 as well and the 150. I don't know. I always kind of wanted the 100, slightly more travel, and that's what this is. So this is the new one from Yeti. It's 115 millimeters in the back and 130 in the front. It's sweet. It's super fun. It was really cool to see Yeti like just continuously evolve their bikes and make sure that there's absolutely something for everyone and that they're listening to feedback from everyone in terms of how they're going to evolve their bikes and change them over time. So luckily we got a bike a couple weeks before release, so we've spent some time on it, and it's really fun, really impressive. I love just this style bike because it works so good for where I ride the most, which is not XC trails, but not like really burly rocky stuff, like somewhere in the middle. And I think this style bike really fits that well. And just having a lot of space on your bike for a water bottle and tools and everything else makes it a bike that can really go for long rides and do a lot of different terrain. With good geo, you can really get out there on it. So before I tell you more about my review and other specs, check out my twin brother's review, Jeffrey Tudlow. Hi there, Jeffrey Tudlow here with the all-new Yeti SB115 bike review. I'll say this bike's light, it's fast, it's rides good. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm hungover. I can't think clearly. Last night I played 24. It's a Jeff Gordon game where you watch 24 Jeff Gordon NASCAR races and you drink a Budweiser every time he wins. So 24 Budweisers on and made it to 14. I can't even, I could barely see right now. I gotta go to bed. Well, my take when riding this thing, it's kind of exactly what I always wanted an SB100 to be. It's basically a slightly longer travel one, which I love. Again, I think a bike like this just works super well for a lot of the riding that I do, and I just think it's really fun because it's still just really fast, light, and efficient, but with good geo on it, you can really do a lot with it. And the 115 hits that on the head. I was definitely more impressed with the suspension. I was kind of expecting it not to be as good as it was. I think Yeti's done a really good job at tuning that rear shock, and the 34 has just gotten a lot better over the years, so pretty impressed with the suspension. I would also be really curious to ride it with the RockShox stuff, so the new Sid and the Sid Lux. I wonder if Nate Hills will do that. He seems to always build up amazing Yetis with RockShox suspension, so that'd be a cool thing to try out as well. But yeah, ride impressions were sweet. I mean, I think this thing is definitely really similar to the 100, and a lot of people are probably asking like, oh, how different is it than the 100? So some of the changes, it does have a totally different rocker link in there. It's now got roller bearing shock hardware on the rear end of it, and they have upgraded the switch linkage. So they did notice, and we noticed too, you know, if you kind of took a 100 and you rode the thing way too aggressively, because the Geo kind of allowed you to, you know, you could make that switch come loose here and there, and that was a problem on a small amount of bikes out there. And Yeti has pretty much eliminated that problem with the just redesigned and revamped switch infinity linkage on this thing to kind of make sure it's like robust and reliable as ever, and you can ride the Downcountry bike as aggressive as you want and not worry about anything there. So yeah, that's some of the differences. Build kits are changing a little bit, so now they're doing a 2.5 and 2.3 tires on there, 180 rotors front and rear, so definitely enduro-ish style tires and rotor setup there, but just make sure that bike is really capable and does what it needs to do. So yeah, stoked on everything so far. Let's talk about some of the specs and build kits. So 115 Geo, 67.6 degree head angle, and honestly, most of the Geo is nearly the same as the SB100, but as with all of our videos, link below in the video description to see all the Geo charts and all the nerdy details and specs and all that sort of stuff written out in a big long form article. Build kits wise, Yeti's doing really good with that these days. I think they've always had really good spec on build kits, and I think that's part of just being like a company run by dudes who actually ride and are really into the sport and know what's trending and what's good. So the C series are going to start at 4,700, and then the T series at 6,300, and you can pretty much upgrade them to your heart's content with access and carbon wheels and whatever you want. They will offer a Shimano variant, and of course a bunch of SRAM stuff, Fox suspension across all of them. Like I said, 2.5 tire on the front and a 2.3 in the back. Pretty cool. 180 rotors front and rear, so definitely aggressive on the build kits there. Colors, turquoise, a new color called Blanco, which I'm pretty sure is white, and anthracite. If you want to know what anthracite is, anthracite, often referred to as hard coal, is a hard compact variety of coal that has a submetallic luster. It has the highest carbon content, the fewest impurities, and the highest energy density of all types of coal, and is the highest ranking of coals.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Well, hopefully that is everything you need to know on Yeti's new SB115. We do plan on getting demos of these things in all three of our shops, so if you want to come ride one and you happen to be near one of our stores, you are welcome to come check that out. They are pretty awesome. Hopefully Yeti fires back up their demo tour. Hopefully everybody fires back up their demo tour, but I think most of those are going to be put on hold until 2021, but what do I know? Anyways, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.